Attention. Welcome to the Different Spectrums podcast. We dive into the wild world of mental health discussions. Get ready for profound talks, a sprinkle of humor and sarcasm, and a touch of colorful language. Just a quick heads up, our show reflects our individual opinions, which may not align with the standpoint of the podcast, our featured guests, or any related corporate entities. Our mission? To illuminate through laughter and satire because everyone needs a good chuckle. Chill out and don't stress over the small stuff. Legal troubles? No, thank you. Cancel culture? Please spare us. We'd rather keep this space lawsuit free. So buckle up, have a good time, and join us as we navigate the vibrant realm of mental health on the Different Spectrums podcast. Today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice. By using our link, you can get 10% off your first month of therapy. So, Naz, as a therapist on BetterHelp, what has your experience been like?
I've been doing it since January 2021, and it's been really fun and exciting. I've been able to reach clients all over the United States and the world. I've had good relationships. I've had folks that I've had for a couple months and a good handful where I've had for almost 2 years now. So it's magnificent. I've enjoyed my time and my clients. I love them.
Awesome. You can do it all from your phone or computer via phone call, video chat, or messaging, however you feel the most comfortable. Let BetterHelp connect you to a therapist who can support you all from the comfort of your own home. Visit betterhelp.com/DSP or choose Different Spectrums podcast during sign up and enjoy a special discount on your first month. Not hungry, yeah. All right. Hey, everybody, we back again.
Hey, did we just make a fat joke to start the thing? We're back. We're live. What's up?
I'm Spencer. Of course, we have our licensed clinical therapist, Naz.
They call me Hot Pocket Nas.
Why?
Yeah.
Because I got hot dogs in there? Oh, that came out weird. Didn't mean it like that. No, no. It's from a TV show.
Back.
It's from a TV show.
They call him the diddler. They call him
Don't
the
say
diddler.
that.
Oh, what's the oil and a pack of hot dogs doing there? All right. Anyways, remember, don't take us too seriously.
Or do. It's completely up to you.
There you go. Also, don't forget to rub those legs for us. We'd really appreciate it. So, we have a guest for the show. So before we get into it, let's talk about it. He is a host and creator of the Young Dad Pod, a podcast that talks about many topics such as mental health, parenting, and more. He's also a mental health professional. Please welcome to the show, Jey Young.
Hey, yo, what up, what up?
Got his own sound effects.
What up? What up? For the rest of the pod, I'm going to just call you Daddy.
Oh. Oh.
Danny? I don't get it.
Oh.
Hey, Daddy.
Moving on.
Hey, Daddy.
Moving
Now you're
on.
Danny.
Don't
Well, I'm
worry
done.
about it.
I'm done.
Yep. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Today we are covering the movie Daddy Daycare. I feel so wrong saying that now. Some topics we're going to be covering today. We're going to be talking about how men can actually take care of kids.
Holy shit.
I know, right? Weird. We're also going to be talking about gender roles, as well as how dads can make not so fun things fun. Then we're also going to bring up some schooling and like what does that really mean and what could that look like, especially from this film. And talking about girl dads. So got some great topics today. Naz, anything before we get into the show?
Keep in mind, this will be a funny one because it is a funny movie and it's not really traumatic at all like our other pods. So we're going to have some fun. We're going to talk some shit. Going to be out of pocket with this. We're probably just going to be like hella boyish on this one, right? Like little 13-year-old boys. Yep. I mean, we're watching the scene where broccoli's fighting fucking carrots. So I'm excited to get into that. A lot of good topics, just when it comes down to gender roles. And I think Spencer just reminded me like, hey, let's talk about schooling. Let's talk about education. Let's talk about how we kill people's creativity. Let's talk about conforming to these certain things that just demolishes kids, specifically neurodivergent and autistic kids. right? How damaging that can be. And what does affirming like education look like? So we're going to have some fun. Real quick, just want to acknowledge some cool stuff. One good thing before we get into the pod later is we got a lot of updates going for the pod. Me and Spencer are putting together some really awesome things to do autism informational outreach and programming when it comes to police officers. So that's something that we got in the works in Minnesota, Indiana, and Michigan. Updated the websites. They look magnificent now. It's much more organized so everyone can check it out. And we're starting to develop the content a little bit different now for folks to ingest and Instagram and things like that. So I apologize for some of the really sad reels that I put out in the last couple of days. I ain't gonna lie, I've been crying my ass off. It's just been fucking me up. But really excited for the updates. Let's get into this pod. Let's have some fun. Whoop whoop.
Whoop, whoop. No. No.
Say whoop whoop, you shithead.
Whoop whoop.
There it is.
There you go.
Whoop. There it is.
Womp. All right. That was perfect.
Wah, wah.
He goes. Brr, brr, brr.
So, you two guys are running a daycare center. You're signing up people at a lemonade stand in the front lawn. Wow, that's... Good luck with that. Okay?
Hey, wait a minute. Now, don't you believe in equality amongst the sexes?
Yeah, can't men do everything women can do?
No. No, we can't. It's unnatural. A little bit icky.
Your guys?
Well, what did you think Daddy Daycare meant?
I thought maybe one guy, nothing but guys.
I just thought it was a clever name.
Is this a daycare place?
They're guys. They're all guys.
They're what?
Excuse me, listen. We are two loving, caring parents, and we run a daycare center.
Couple of sickos is what you are.
Hey, miss, hey, how about a free trial offer?
Sickos!
Dear.
Hi, I'm Peggy. Hi, Nikki. How you doing?
Nikki is so excited for his big day. Nikki, how old are you, hon? Oh, yeah, 5.
Wait, you're gonna leave Nikki here with these guys?
Yeah. Oh, come on. You have trouble with them being guys? What are you, from the dark ages? Aren't you for all that gender equality and all that jazz?
Peggy, come on. Of course we are.
Okay, so can't women do what men do and men do what women do? These guys can do the job.
What, you gonna vouch for these two?
Yeah, I'll vouch for them. I'll vouch for these guys.
Okay. Just, I'll try it.
All right.
You're gonna do it.
Come on, have a great time.
Okay.
Right, kids?
You're a real lifesaver.
You know what? You screw this up, I'm gonna kill you with my bare hands.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Let me tell you something, brother. I have never liked carrots. And today, as I stand here and look at you, before me, having the audacity to think that you can defeat me, let me tell you something, brother. I am about to kick your carrot butt. Let me tell you something, Mr. Broccoli. When the carrot is done with you, you will be nothing but a kumquat. I will destroy everything that is wrong with broccoli. The carrot is the lowest form of vegetable. Hey! What about me? Nobody likes broccoli. Really? Well, Ben likes broccoli, don't you, Ben?
No.
You turned my own sprout against me? Now you gotta die! Everybody Okay, come on. I felt that. Come on. Hey! Okay? Will you stop it? Oh, that's it.
Hey, what's that about?
I'm sorry.
What's that about?
You made me crazy.
You're a maniac. You're wrecking my wife's tables and stuff.
Oh,
Come
man.
here.
My back.
Hey, hi.
Oh, is this the Hinton residence? I'm Dan Cubits, Child Services. I'm here to conduct a compliance inspection.
Inspection? No one said anything about the inspection.
Yeah.
Well, we only do it if we receive a complaint.
A complaint? Somebody complained about... Hey, well, come on in. You can inspect us. We have nothing to hide. And we caught us at a crazy time. We're playing with the kids.
Right.
Oh, somebody complained about us? Hey, Phil, get the door.
Huh?
Get the door.
I got it. I got it.
Oh,
Mr. Cubits, what are you doing here?
is this a bad time?
No, it's a great time.
Well, is the man of the house at home?
Man of the house. Charlie! Mr. Cubits is here from Child Services.
I'll be right there.
So, let me ask you, where are the kids?
Outside. Marvin's giving them a puppet show.
Nice. What's on the program? Pinocchio, Little Red Riding Hood?
No, Wrath of Khan.
Hey, Mr. Cubits, hi. Hey, yo, wait, what are you doing?
What?
What's wrong with your face?
My face?
Hey, what's all that stuff, man? Come on. What's the matter with you?
Becca and Jamie. If you'll excuse me, I have to see two little girls because now I'm a big girl.
Yeah, man, you go.
Hey everyone, I'm here to talk about our new collaborator, Toink Toys. They have a wide selection of, you guessed it, toys and other great collectibles. They have products from Marvel, Star Wars, Harry Potter, and everything pop culture. You could say they put the toy in Toink. So go check them out at toink.com and use our code Different Spectrums Podcast to get 10% off your entire order today.
All right, and we're back again.
We're back and we're live. My man just taking a word far.
You just can't stop.
We just as live as boarhead sandwich meat. Do not eat that shit. This is a public service announcement. This shit has been contaminated.
Jesus.
Fucking 9 people have died.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
What?
9 people have died. Boar's Head, they shut down a factory actually recently. I've been forgetting to talk about this. Shut down the complete factory. They said it was one of the worst packaging and processing places they've ever seen in America. There was rat and roaches climbing all over the meat and everywhere. It was so horrific that they had to shut down the whole factory. I got sick from it.
And that's Target. Target does Boarhead, right?
Do they? Oh no, it's a separate company on the East Coast, but they ship meat everywhere. It's actually premium meats, and it's like $12 a pound. I was paying for that shit for years.
Not so premium, I guess.
Trash.
I think Kroger and Albertsons in their deli do Boarhead, or did do Boarhead.
A lot of different places do it. A lot of Publix and stuff like that. A lot of places do it. But yeah, sorry, that was a weird pivot. I keep forgetting to mention it.
All right.
Fuck you, Boarhead.
Well,
we're back. Listeria.
Hey, Jay, how's it going? Hopefully you haven't followed
man.
me from Boarhead.
Well, I don't really like lunch meat as it is, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, well, you're safe.
Except I went to Jersey Mike's last night. I don't know where they get their meat from, but
I think they just do it all in house, I would think.
I don't know.
yeah, Jersey Mike's is so good.
It is good.
Promo, Jersey Mike's.
Shout out to Jersey
Not a
Mike.
sponsor.
Shout
Be
out
a
to Mike.
sponsor for our show, Jersey
Right,
Mike's.
both of
Danny
them.
DeVito. Hey.
Shout out to Mike's Meats.
I remember Mike. All right. Anyways.
Call him.
Yeah.
Let's get to the show.
What's he doing? All right. Yes, we have a guest on, Jey Young, host of the podcast, Young Dad Pod. So just starting off, how'd you start your podcast?
So I started YDP about a little bit more than 2 years ago. It started with an inclination and a dream. And no, I'm just fucking around. Pretty much how it started was, so my brother and I at the time, even before this, so backstory to the backstory. I had another podcast called A Ball Boy Talk. It was a sports podcast. You can still find it out there on the places and stuff. And I love doing it. But then I got divorced and then I lost all my creativity for about a year and a few months. And then my brother and I, we were talking about it. We kept bouncing ideas off of each other, like maybe sports, maybe not. There's too many sports. Yeah, there is. All these different ideas. And so then finally one day I'm sitting at my bank job. I worked at a bank at this time. It's before I found my practice now, but I was working at a bank at this time, just, post-divorce. It was a mess. And so working here, and then one day it just all hits me. Young Dad Podcast. And our original logo was like a yin and yang, a fusion yin and yang symbol, which represents like we are both sides of each other, so we both make this thing up, and then we fuse and we meet in a lot of similar places too. So there was a lot of meaning behind the original logo. So then Young Dad Podcast was born. ran that it's been running ever since about July 2022. And yeah, it was started with just kind of as an outlet to help other dads. Because when I was going through my divorce, I had found this podcast called Single Dad Reboot. Shout out to my man Craig. Craig's been on the podcast multiple times. Great
Shout
great
out
friend of mine.
Craig. And Craig.
Yeah. Craig, if you're listening.
Craig. Craig. You ain't got no sugar.
And anyways, so it's essentially an inspiring story. So he inspired me to start Young Dad Podcast because he shared this Brene Brown quote with me, basically saying that how you got through it is going to be the blueprint for someone else.
Yep.
And so how I got through the divorce and navigated life then after being a single dad for about 3 years before I met my now wife. Actually, funny story how I met her. I actually met her very soon after my divorce, the fall after my divorce. So I met her probably about 5-6 months later when my daughter was in her preschool class. My oldest daughter's in her preschool class. That's when I met her. Love at first sight. I don't know if she can hear me or not, but if she can, it was love at first sight, babe.
She got that knife next to you. Just be like, say
pretty
it.
much, right?
Love at
Yeah,
first sight.
she's over,
Say it.
yeah, pretty much. And then life went on, whatnot. My daughter went through her preschool class, and so then it was summer of what year did she go to school there? Hell if I remember, but it was a summer that I slid into her DMs because I waited, respectably.
This better
slide
be
into her
this
DMs.
better be tied into your podcast. Or if not, this is a big side quest.
Yeah, no, this really was. I don't know how I got here. But anyways, and then, I was navigating being a single parent, dating, all this fun stuff, and then, shared that blueprint, and then it's turned into what it is today. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. I had to read
You cut him off.
Yeah.
He was about to go on such a tangent.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, no.
No,
Like, all
we're
right,
not doing that
okay.
today, homie. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, my bad. That went off. I don't know how that got there.
Yeah. He's like, let me tell you how I unzipped. You're
Let
like,
me tell you
what?
how I bagged her. How?
Let me tell you.
It's on your pod.
Yeah.
My oldest daughter always helped when she was in school, too. She would always ask her, do you have a boyfriend?
Oh,
Are you
that's
married?
awesome.
So my older daughter shipped us.
Yep. So you guys did this to help find the blueprint for other dads that are going through this struggle, that are either
Pretty much, yeah.
single dads or just dads in general.
Single dads in general, really the premise of it, what it's evolved into now is just the goal to help like 1 million dads or 1 million parents or 1 million people in some way, shape, or form, whether that's find community, they get a conversation and inspires them to do something, and inspires them to take action, inspires them to make a change, and inspires them to do something, or it just gives them a laugh, or it just gives them some freaking peace of mind and quiet, and it's a time that they can connect and relax through the podcast and through the conversations and whatnot. So all those are the goals of it and the premises of it and what the purpose of the podcast is now after it's evolved over the last couple of years. So
Okay. Kicking back to Spence. More questions.
Ooh. So you also talked about how you're also a mental health professional. So how'd you get into that field?
And before you start, before you start DMing people and just slinging your cheese around, maybe
cheddar.
Maybe you should let people know you're a mental health professional.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you just were like, hey man, how do I get on your pod? I'm like, I don't know who the fuck you are. Who are you? Your content's about dads. I'm like, all right, get a fucking job. I get it. You're a dad. Big deal. And now Spencer's like, oh yeah, he's like, does like this cool shit. And I'm like, oh, nice to know that instead of me like avoiding you for like half a year. So put it in your fucking bio, stamp it on your head.
I updated it.
Oh, good.
Jesus Christ.
I'm glad I shamed you into putting your cheese away. All right. So what was the question, Spence? Why?
So
how'd you
how I
get
got
into
into
mental
this
health?
field.
There you go.
So my education story is a story in itself, but basically I started out as a special education K through 12 major. So I always knew I wanted to work with kids and youth and families and whatnot. That's always kind of been the thing. And then I had a professor that scared me shitless out of that. And so then I went into business, and then I dropped out, and then I got married, and then I worked some jobs, and then I stopped going to school. And then I picked up my degree again after my divorce, and then finished my bachelor's degree, and then got my master's degree then after, and ended up working in the mental health field, working with youth and families in a intensive outpatient program. And then, yeah, the rest is history.
Holy shit. That's awesome.
Yeah. Fucking A.
Look at you with a story.
So-
Look at you with some life experience.
Yeah,
I
definitely
know.
needed that in your bio. Fuck.
Yeah. So yeah. So
That's
I quit school. I went back to school. The only reason I went back to school to finish my bachelor's degree was because it was after my divorce. I was a single dad, and I was like, I have to show my girls that no matter what, one of their parents is college educated. One of
Let's
their
do it.
parents is not going to fight. One of their parents is not going to give up their educational goals and whatnot just because. And I have a mentor of mine. His name's Adam. Shout out to you, Adam. He's been a long time mentor of mine since I was a teenager, second dad to me even. And one thing that I always heard his voice in my head all throughout the years, like you gotta get it. Even if you don't do nothing with it, you gotta just be able to say you got it, whatever it is. And so then I got it.
That's
Had to
fucking
take
awesome,
a bunch
dude.
of different times off and whatnot, just because of trying to work a full-time job, raise two kids. Um, for the first year or so of my divorce, I had them about 60, 70% of the time. And so working and trying to navigate that, go through the divorce process and whatnot, that was super challenging. So I was in school at the same time, trying to finish up my undergrad, and then now I have my master's, and it's all wrapped up, and now I get to pay back the government a bunch of money. So
Hey,
Right.
that's fucking awesome, man. I'm happy for you. Yeah, no, it's an honor to meet you, man. That's a pretty awesome story. I like that story for you and your family. Yeah, that's dope.
So
Real quick though, what Spencer was building on is this mental health stuff. What is it that you do? And I love that you geeked up because we geeked you up. Slow it down now. Slow it down. Okay.
Okay.
So what's this mental health stuff that you're doing?
So I work in a WISE program. So WISE is wraparound with intensive services. It was born out of a lawsuit here in Washington State because there was nothing in between at the time. There's nothing in between traditional outpatient services, which most people know as you go see your counselor once a week and talk for an hour and then you go home. And then there was inpatient services, which is around the clock inpatient care. But there was nothing to kind of bridge that gap between coming out of inpatient to transition back down or transition in between to try to get back down to that lower level of care. And so with the WISE program, which was born there was, okay, let's create a program that's intensive, outpatient, to where it helps these youth and these families get stabilize their needs, stabilize them in all these different life domains, help them build on their strengths, however. So our strengths is the focus of the one of the 10 principles, but we're strengths based. So we use the youth and family strengths that they have now. We meet them exactly where they're at. So we're home based, community based, school based. We can meet anywhere, anytime kind of thing. So wherever the family's at, we meet them exactly where they're at. And we create individualized goals. So it's a very holistic approach. It's a very non-clinical type of approach. Each family's goals are different, and each family has a different goal that they're working on.
But what the hell? What do you do? What the hell do you do?
So I've done every role in the WISE program. So there's 4 roles in the WISE program. There's care coordinator, there's youth peer, family peer, and a counselor, of course. And I've done all 4 roles.
Okay.
Which one do you enjoy the most?
The one I've enjoyed the most that I've stuck with the longest is actually with care coordination, because I get to work with the youth and families in a very unique way. So I get to fill in and work on the goals the same as a youth peer, the family peer, as a counselor does, and do all their action steps as well. And also be able to meet them and guide them through their recovery and guide them through this WISE process for the time that they're in WISE. So I really enjoy that the most. That's my favorite part of it. But I also get to do skill building with them, meet with them as a peer, meet with them for support as well. So
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Fuck. All right. We're probably going to get into this a little bit later. Could ask it later, but I also want to know, like, so as somebody who's in the mental health field and working with kids, do you get, like, as a man in the mental health field, do you also get like those looks of like, oh, so you're in this field? Is there like somebody else I could work with? Because
Where's the white woman at?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
pretty much.
Yeah.
And that's like most of my coworkers are white women.
Yeah, no.
And no, definitely. It's definitely kind of one of those things. But so our counseling team actually is a white woman and then 2 brown dudes.
Hey.
So we're pretty diverse with the counselors and whatnot. So that's
Okay.
really cool. That's really unique to our program. I'm the only, no, there's only 2 of us guys in my role of care coordinators. And then there's no male family peer. So I also do a lot of family peer work to where I specifically get to work with dads. I won't be a family peer for a family unless there's a dad I'm working with.
That's awesome.
So I'll work one-on-one with the dads. So I advocate for that to make sure that they have the same support, because we get a lot of families that aren't traditional nuclear families, to where the dads and the moms aren't together, but they both need the support just in different ways. Men get men, women get women, more traditionally. That's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah.
Brains work alike, brains think the same kind of thing. So I've had opportunity to work with a lot of really cool dudes and to help them along this process to where they came to a point to where they were refusing to go to meetings, and they were showing up to the team meetings, and they were excited. They were giving input. They were engaged. They were making
Look
the
at
steps at
that.
home. They were making changes, and it was really cool to see how this changes for a dad. And yeah, definitely those looks happen. 'cause
Men
they're
healing
ex-
men. That's what
Yeah,
it's
they're
man on
expecting
man
someone else.
success. It's 2024. A man can be with a man.
Yeah, true.
A man can
They sure
heal
can.
with another man. Because when you cooking the meat, I'm done.
What?
No, that was fantastic.
Yes.
That
You
was
just had to
fantastic.
fucking ruin it with meat.
No, cooking the meat. Cooking the
We're
meat.
vegan over here.
Tofu dogs.
No, dude, that's awesome. But based on what Spencer was saying, like my intrusive thoughts are, you see a dad that's like working with kids, or you see a dad, or like, just a male, not a dad. You see a man going to these therapy appointments, and I get weird because I'm a big dude. And I ain't just like a little dude, like I'm a big dude. So I'm always like, cautious about that.
Big brown dude.
Big
also.
brown dude, I know. And I guess like you're working with kids, I could see parents or moms be like, the hell are you doing over here with these kids, you pervert? I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
not all men that work with kids are perverts. Jesus Christ. So do you ever get into those weird eyes, like you're the creeper, or like the fucking like little Catholic fucking priest just watching the
Oh
kids?
my
Sorry.
fucking God.
Maybe not to that level, but no, definitely where there's like those looks where it's like, what are you doing with this little kid one-on-one? I can very obviously tell that's not your kid because he looks nothing like you. Kind of
Like, look at this
thing.
little Asian kid.
Pretty much.
Rebecca.
Or so there's some of those looks, but after you kind of build your rapport with the families and the schools and their community partners and whatnot, everyone gets kind of used to seeing each other, and
Okay.
it's not as weird. Those things go away pretty quickly.
So you're
And after a
saying,
while of doing it, you get comfortable just going and
so
doing
everyone's
it.
cool after they get to know you. So now you're saying this is the perfect time to abduct a child.
I mean, in that
Oh my
context,
fucking God.
I got set up for that one. I didn't know what to
Oh,
say.
my-
He
wait a
said-
minute. Wait a minute. Oh shit. I'm back. I'm
Stay
back.
out. Stay out. No, get back. Get back. There you go.
That's gonna be an awkward pause for a lot of people that are driving. They're gonna be like,
Pause.
I think they'll feel exactly what you were saying and be like, yeah, they should have paused on that
I'm
one.
putting some weird stuff on this, and I definitely apologize if I offend anyone in that. But I'm trying to make a very clear point: is that I get that men are maybe seen as a certain way. I get that we're a lot of perpetrators always of like violence, physical violence, shootings, abuse. And we had you look up some statistics before this. And so people are scared of us, and rightfully so in many facts and reasons. And, I wouldn't trust my child with anyone. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't care what gender you are. Me and Spencer and Colin, my boy Moses, we're going to be looking into all your shit. We're going to know how you brush your toes at night.
Or why?
Yeah.
Yeah, why? Are you supposed to do that?
I couldn't think of nothing. So I'm bringing this up, but I'm doing it on purpose because I know people will look at us like, pervert, creeper.
Where to me?
I'm just saying, because I know that's, people look at me, the instant thing is thug. The instant thing is violence. The instant thing is angry. I've had people call me a drug dealer in session when I met parents. I'm like, you calling me a drug dealer right now? I look at my boss. I look at the white lady. I'm like, okay. You look at I need this job. That's only paying me $30,000 a year, you motherfucker. You're lucky that my dad's disabled and shit, and I got to take care of him. Otherwise, I'll be in prison for killing you. So,
oh my God. Oh, wow. Taking that out.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take that out. So,
yeah.
See, perpetrators of violence. See, be scared of men. So this is why I just brought that up. So all those jokes aside is you do get those looks, but after you build that rapport with people, they're like, oh, this dude's awesome.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm sorry
Pretty
I took us on a side tangent there.
And all you have to do is, but really that's like goes to speak to like most parts of life. You know, once you get to know someone, oh, they're really not that bad. Oh, they're awesome as shit. Oh, they're really, really cool person. If we give people half a chance and we check our bias and we put those stereotypes to the side, and, you know, you would be surprised by some of the statistics we looked up when it comes to these, who is actually the perpetrator and whatnot.
Yep.
You'd be really surprised. But
just in general, right? You get to know people. Like, actually, listen, me and Spencer talk about it all the time. No one listens to shit anymore. You only listen to your people. You don't care about race, religion. You all say you do, and then you won't give anyone the time to explain themselves, to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, they're hurting every. Well, let's just talk to them. Maybe if we actually get in it, we can actually create change. We can get to know people. You know, not all the blacks are bad.
They sure aren't.
You know,
they sure aren't.
No, I don't trust the quiz, but you know, they're not all bad.
That was a Donald Trump impersonation.
I know it was the quiz.
We'll just say that.
You know, they ain't not dogs. They ain't not dogs. They ain't not cats. You know.
Oh my God.
You know.
Yes. We don't like to just think one way about a people because everyone is different. Everyone is.
You know.
Yes, but it's also not good to mock people and mock their accents and mock how they talk either. So.
Yeah, well, you're on the wrong show for that.
I'm just saying, if you're at a podium and you're doing it, then there's.
That too.
Yeah, no, I mock Trump all the time. Yeah.
Yeah,
good
I
people.
also do Boston accent.
Good, great people. I got the best people. They love me. They support me.
That somehow turned into like a Mexican band. I don't know how that.
Thinking too. Like Mexican Trump.
I mean, he's so fucking orange. He might as well be Mexican.
Señorito Trumpo.
He does an accent every set. Just don't do an accent.
Exactly.
You bigot. I got you. I'm taking your job. Yep. Cancel his white ass. All right.
Oh my God.
Spencer. Any other questions
They
for
tried to twice.
this man?
Let's just get into it.
Okay.
Unless you have any questions, Naz.
Oh my God.
Dude, real quick before we get into the scene, just how is it being a dad? Is it what you thought it was going to be? Is it fucking terrifying? Is it exciting? Like, what's it like?
It's everything I ever wanted. Like, wanted it to be and so much more. So I always wanted to be a dad growing up. Ever since I was a little boy, I always wanted to be a dad. Like, I don't know why. Whenever we drew pictures of what we want to be when we grew up, I was a professional baseball player with a wife and kids.
Okay.
Yeah. And I almost made that dream happen if it wasn't for an elbow injury. You know, classic story. But shoulda, coulda, woulda, but it didn't. So I became a dad when I was 22. So I didn't even have a full frontal cortex when I became a dad.
Nope.
So,
but
yeah,
you
it's
had
everything and more that
you
I wanted
had all
to
the
be.
stuff you needed to have, to be a dad, though.
Yeah. No. Biologically.
It's like, wait a minute.
I was trying to say like mentally and like gifted as a person, but then also I was trying to make an innuendo towards like you had a wean. So
you got the thing you need to make a baby.
You did it. Congratulations.
Thank you. Twice.
Good job.
Ching.
Doing it. Literally.
But no, it's great. It's great. It's been one of the hardest things I've ever done, but also one of the easiest at the same time. But it's always a learning experience, especially as my daughters get older. My oldest one, she's 7 now. She'll be 8 next year. And as she gets into this age, she's in counseling. She goes to counseling every week. So there's a lot of things that trying to work through with her. I mean, she was older when she went through the divorce and everything, and compared to a little one who was just a few months old at the time of everything. So, she's definitely more impacted by it, and seeing how that's impacted her, but also seeing how she's grown and developed over the years and how just amazing she is as an individual, how creative and artistic and fun and sassy and sweet, and just how she's just my big baby. She made me a dad. I get to experience all the firsts with her. Every first is with her, which is really cool. Um, and then she's just great. Does she have her issues? Yes. Do we all? Yes. My toddler, my 3-year-old, she's gonna be 4 here soon. She is wild. She is the life of every party. She is really, if I got to fully express my inner child when I was that age, she's exactly what that would look like. She acts just like me.
That's awesome.
She's hilarious. She's fun. She's just everything. She's a life of every single moment. She's a life of every single party. She has the biggest attitude, but she's also the most fun kid to be around most of the time. And yeah, so being a dad's absolutely the best.
So the 4-year-old is our favorite.
No, they're both my favorite.
Sounds like the 7-year-old's a redo.
Oh my god!
If she listens to this, I am so sorry, young girl. I love
Why
you.
would you be listening to this?
You know, I don't know.
Don't let your child listen to this. It's not for children.
My 7-year-old is fantastic. She has
I'm
all of her
joking.
strengths and her quirkiness and all of her just she is how she is.
You're not
She's
selling
amazing.
it. You're not selling it.
Stop trying to sell us on your 7-year-old. We don't want her.
It's like when my mom tried to hype me up to other women when I was younger. He's like, he got all his teeth. I'm like, thanks, Mom. That was such a great compliment.
That's about it. He got teeth.
My
I don't.
7-year-old is she has all the talents.
She's so talented. She's such a natural talent. You know,
She's got great teeth. So
no,
okay.
she actually has to go to the orthodontist.
Well, she ain't got nothing then. Okay. So
She has a great smile. She has great teeth, but she has to go to the orthodontist because she has an underbite. So we got to start getting that correct.
yeah,
So.
for sure. Right. Of course, we're making jokes. I want to have fun today.
Yes.
But like this thing is the biggest thing that you've ever wanted, right? And you've got it. You've got a pretty good career thing going on. You've got the kids going on. I also saw that you had another partner there. So before we pivot into the scenes and have some fun with that. So you had those 2 kids with your previous partner, correct?
Correct.
So how the hell does that happen? You know, I can't even get a fucking date. You married someone with 2 kids.
Yeah, no, she's
Is she cool with you having the 2 kids? Is she cool being a mom and all that? And was that freaking you out being a single dad? Because I know that freaks out a lot of the women I work with.
yeah, no, it definitely was a barrier for a long time. And then when we first got married and moved in together and everything, it was definitely different because we have them every other week. And so it's definitely had its ups and its downs over the last, I mean, we got married back this last April. So it's had its ups and
Oh,
downs
recent. Congratulations.
over the last, few months of trying to navigate everything. But these girls absolutely love their stepmom so much.
Awesome.
They adore her. They look up to her. They like her more than me 90% of the time. So, I mean, doing something right there. But she's fantastic. She's all in on these girls, on her relationship with them. She's fantastic. They love her. They adore her. And, I couldn't have asked for someone better. So,
Were you worried though when you were dating, like this was going to set you back and you weren't going to find people because now you had this metaphorical baggage of being, these kids?
absolutely. Absolutely. And it did. It did a lot in those few years. And, it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
It's not. And so it takes a really special person to step up into that relationship and to fill that role in the home, either mother or father, and to want to be that and want to have that and want to step up. And so it's something that's not easy. It hasn't been easy. There's been ups, there's been downs, there's been challenges, there's been highs, there's been lows, of course, all the things. It's natural. And so, but she's done just a marvelous job of navigating the waters and doing all the things.
What's her name? Give her a shout out on you now. I think you did earlier, but give her a shout out.
Yeah. So shout out to my wife, Cindy. She's fantastic.
Cindy.
So.
Let's go. Let's give it round of applause, Sydney. Round of applause.
Skull.
Skull. That's magnificent for anyone stepping into those situations, right? Because they didn't have to deal with that. They could have had something different or easier. And so it's awesome to know that you can still find people in life and you just happen to have kids. So I hopefully the other parents out there listening that are going through divorces, that are staying in horrible relationships because the devil they know is better than the devil they don't know. There are people out there that will love you and will take care of you, will support you and your children if need be. And Jey and his partner are living proof of that. I don't think we've talked about that on the pod yet, so I'm glad that we've got to talk about that today.
Yeah.
All right, Spence. Let's mosey on over. Let's do some clips. Let's have some fun.
Yes. So we're doing the movie Daddy Daycare with Eddie Murphy, Steve Zahn, and Jeff Garlin. Movie about Eddie Murphy and Jeff Garlin's characters. They both lose their jobs. They get downsized because they were making a vegetable cereal.
Mm-hmm.
And all the kids hated it. They're like, no, we're not doing this. We want this cotton candy cereal, this sugary cereal. So they get thrown out for that. And then so then they have this idea. Why don't we start our own daycare? Right? Why not? Why not? Two guys can do it, right? We can do anything. We're men. We can do anything.
Oh man, we rule the world.
That's right.
Patriarchy.
Yeah, that's why they had to have a white guy in there, or else they're like, oh, never mind. They're really not going to trust us.
Black
racism.
dad? No, we're not. No,
Two
we're not.
black dads?
He's just
No,
gonna leave
we
my
can't.
kids like he left his family. Jesus.
Oh,
You tell the kids you gotta go get more milk.
stereotype.
Jesus. He said he's gonna get more.
I heard him. I heard him.
Jay's half black, or he's got some black in him too somewhere, so he can make that comment.
You
Yes,
got some
I can.
chocolate there. All right. And so they start this daycare, and of course, all the people, and this is our first scene, all the people are very, very they don't want this to happen. They don't want two
Hesitant.
guys. Yes, they're very hesitant to have two men watching their kids, because then they have this other private school that's expensive, and it's the only school in town that's going to be able to take care of them kids. It's more of like a private school. They have to wear uniforms. They have to, everything is straight line, straight edged. Go do it. And now you have these two goofy dads looking after their kids who have no prior experience besides watching their own kids, and they barely do that as well because they didn't look after their kids. And so we kind of see this transformation actually with Eddie Murphy and his son, and how they're connecting a lot more, right? Because before they weren't having that connection, and the communication was off. Eddie Murphy wasn't really having a good time actually communicating with his son, and then you could see that at first. But then all of a sudden throughout the movie, then he starts having that communication with his son, and their bond grows a lot deeper. So in this first scene, we have all these different parents going up, especially they're all women, going up to these guys mostly and being like, two guys watching our kids?
Perverts.
I don't think that. Yeah,
Oh,
pretty much.
hell no is what they're
Yeah,
saying.
pretty much, but in the white language. So no, thank you. I don't want that. And
A
then
white
of
man.
course, the mixed race. No, we don't want that. And then you also have a dad go up there being like, "This is unnatural. No, we can't. No, you can't do that.
It's
This is-
unnatural. I mean, because men know we're also sickos and like murderers, and so even men don't trust men.
True. So it's like, what? You're kind of bad no for 100 here. And so,
Yep.
but then they have like one of their friends actually come up and be like, yeah, they're great. They're good dads. They can do anything. They're men. They, if men can't do, you want equality, right? So this is equality. This is what it looks like. And so she signs up for that, but then she's also like, if you screw this up, I will murder you.
Yeah.
Murder. But yeah, let's talk about how these kind of the gender roles that we set, and that we're against them, but at the same time we're also use it as protection for everyday life, right? We just are like, that's a man, because we have this whole meme that has come out being like, man or bear, which one would you choose? And that's 2024. This is 2003. So we still kind of have those misconceptions of how men can't do certain things and women can do certain things, but then they might not be able to do certain things. We still have these misconceptions and these gender roles that play a big part in our society. And so, Jay, I would love to know, like we've kind of talked about it a little bit already, but have you gotten those looks as a dad, like taken to parks and things like that, just being like, who the fuck is this guy? What are they doing? Especially with having daughters. That's
Yeah.
also something too.
Right.
So We'll love to
Yeah.
know.
First off, is that a mouth guard in your hand?
It is. It's my
Okay.
old high
I
school
just
mouth guard.
I just was curious. And anyways, to answer the question, yes, I have gotten those looks at the grocery store quite a few times. I remember one distinction. I was at the Winco, and I was right around the meat section. So I'm grabbing some like meats and proteins and things like that. And this one guy, this one other, of course, white dude, of course, got to be a white dude, said, "Oh, look at you, helping out mom and whatnot." I was like, "No, actually," and I rebutted straight back right away. I'm like, "No, actually, I'm a single dad, so I'm doing this for myself." And he was just like, "Oh, oh, good, good for you." He had no clue what to say. And so those looks happen all the time where it just looks weird, it looks odd. It's like, what is he doing out in public doing this thing? It's like, well, A, I don't have another choice. B, I also have to take my girls into the men's bathroom because I can't really let them. Well, now I can. Now that my older one's a little bit older, I can wait outside the bathroom. She can go in there and do the things like that kind of thing. So,
Right.
and then she can help her little sister and things like that. So they can go in there, and now they have a stepmom, so then they can all go to the bathroom together kind of thing. So that's a lot easier now. But before, it was I would have to take them into the men's restroom, wait for a stall, go in the stall, and I would be nervous. I
Yep.
still am nervous. It's like someone thinks like I'm in here with a little girl, yelling at her to pull your pants down, pull your pants up,
Oh
go
my
potty,
God.
kind of thing.
That sounds
And
great.
no, it doesn't. But it's like I have to tell my kid to use the bathroom. I'm like,
True.
okay, let's pull your pants down. Make sure you pull your underwear down, kind of thing. Where it sounds weird, but it's like, no, I'm just trying to make sure my daughter goes to the bathroom.
Yep.
You're just yelling
all
out
I'm trying to do.
context.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, okay, guys, it's all right, it's all right. I'm just making my child go poop. It's fine.
Wait a minute. Women poop?
They do. When you have little girls, they poop a lot.
Okay. Good to know.
A lot.
Good to know. So
Ew.
do you have any wild stories of like where someone like stereotyped you other than the meat market? What's your wildest story where you definitely felt like you were being kind of ostracized, persecuted, profiled? Is it?
The wildest one I can think of is probably was during the pandemic or right after like when things started to open up a little bit more. Our mask mandates came down here in Washington, so we didn't have to wear them at like Walmart anymore. So I'm at the Walmart, and like I'm pretty sure I got doubled on this one because I wasn't wearing a mask, and I had my daughters, they weren't wearing a mask, and so we're just shopping at the Walmart, just very post like height of the pandemic and whatnot. So, and then this old white dude, I remember it was specifically an old white dude, yelled at me for calling him out on his BS because he was yelling at the cashier. He said something along the lines of just how a girl from Southeast Asia would bag. And I said, "Hey,
Bro.
yo, for real." That's what he said. I'm like, "Bro, like, sir, like, no, you're not saying that. That's not okay." So then he yells at me for having the two little girls in my car. I'm like, "Okay, they're my daughters, dumbass." And he yells at me for not having a mask on. And so it was a whole thing. And then I thought I was about to I was about to knock out this old man in the Walmart checkout line. Like I was unafraid to knock him out. And then as I'm walking out of the Walmart, the workers were like, "Thank you for doing that." I'm like, of course, I used to work at a Walmart back in my younger years. I was an assistant store manager, so I knew how it was. And I'm not in this cashier. If you're ever at the Walmart and you see a cashier that has the yellow across their name, it means they're under 18.
Mhm.
So it means they're a minor.
Didn't know that.
And she had that, and I'm like, "You are like 17. This is your first job. You're just trying to cashier.
Terrified.
You're just trying to make a little extra money. Like, I'm so sorry. That shouldn't happen." Like, and she was like petrified and stuff. So
Crazy. I got a
Yeah.
small story, Spence. We was walking in Virginia at the grocery store with Kyle and his little girl. She was just really starting to move now, right? Yeah, she was a little asshole to me. I ain't gonna lie. I asked her to come over to the little girl, right? And she won't come over to me. It's fine. It's fine. But as soon as I start sliding back in the grocery store, she starts freaking out, like screaming for me to catch up. I'm like, "Girl, you either love me or hate me. So I can never be too far away or too close to her." It's the perfect amount of autism in this girl. I swear to God. And so we're at the we're getting close to the checkout line, and these ladies are looking at us, and it was the funniest thing. They're like just staring at us real hard. And then they made a double take. They turned around and came back and looked at us, right? Because I had a girl on my arms and Colin's right there. We look like a couple, right? We look like a couple of gay dudes. And they were like, "Who is this baby?" I said, "It's my baby." Well, I kept telling everyone it was my baby and just playing into the role of like being a gay couple. And because the baby looks nothing like me, it's the blondest, whitest baby ever, and like brown.
Most Aryan baby you've ever seen in your life.
And I'm just like, "Did my baby?"
Yeah.
And it's just funny the looks that we got. And Colin didn't realize it until his wife pointed it out. She was like, "Look at these people are like terrified of you two." I'm like, big men can hold a baby too, bro.
Yeah.
True.
Interesting thing, side put, right? It's just a big dude that just happens to be friends with someone that has a baby. Spence, you got any more questions for him about the scene just in general?
I mean, trying to think of some. I couldn't even, because that was like the main one. I mean, we're talking about these different gender roles and things like that. I mean, yeah, I think we're good on that one, honestly, unless you got some, like, I can't really think of anything.
True. You picked this scene. To me, this is one of the funniest fucking scenes that there is, because of how awkward it must be to be the dudes and how awkward it must be to be the women. I'm going to ask you a serious question now.
Yeah.
If you saw you and one of your friends sitting at a Kool-Aid stand trying to get kids to come in, would you be like, "Oh, I trust these brothers"? Or would you be like,
"Don't you touch that purple drink, Sydney. Don't you do."
Would you trust you if you saw yourself? Real talk. If I saw myself, I'm not going to lie. The stereotypes would go in. I'm like, "Oh no, I don't trust the big one." The big one? I'm racist as shit. Like, oh, hell no.
I said nope.
He got a Muslim name too? Nah, man. You don't have him
I don't
teaching
think
the
you get that
Quran.
far. I don't think you'd be talking to him. I don't think you even know his name. You'd be like, nope.
So I
We're
could say
walking.
all this stuff about gender roles and being 2024 and all that, and also I know, like, I feel like I'd be like,
yeah.
So
Definitely, it's just like when your kids have a male teacher.
Okay.
You know, it's very
Explain.
similar to when you have like a male teacher, because you're like, okay, yes, he's a teacher, so he's fine, he's vetted, all the things and whatnot. But you're also like kind of hesitant at the same time. It's like, well, you'll be spending all this time in the classroom and, you know, instructional time and yada yada yada. There's like one para, maybe that other para is a dude too. So it's like there's two dudes in this one classroom with all these kids, where it just like fires up those like
alert.
unconscious biases, you know? It fires up those unconscious biases that you're not even aware that you're had. And you're like, whoa, need a chickadee check those biases real quick. So honestly, I would go and talk to these two dudes. You know, I would go and talk to them. I'd be like, "Hey, what is this about? Can you show me around? Can you give me a tour? Can you tell me more about, you know, kind of what you're gonna do, about your curriculum, things like that?
Yeah.
Do you have background checks? You know, vet them. Do your homework and do your vet, as you should do with anything.
Okay.
Public schools, all the different places that your kids can go, who they're going to be with, who they're going to be around. It's just like when they go to a friend's house, kind of thing. You know, who are they going to be with?
Explain that. What do you mean if they go to a friend's house? What the hell does that mean?
So if they're going to like their friend's house, right? And you know, you're going to make sure you know the parents. You're going to make sure that you've been to the home, that you know it's in a safe neighborhood, that you know who else is in the home. Are there other adults? Are there other kids? Are there big brothers, big sisters, dads, moms, aunts, uncles? Who's all in the home? So we're gonna know all these things before allowing them to go over. From back when our day, it's like, hey, I'm going over to Jimmy's house. Okay, cool, have fun, kind of thing. So we're a lot more aware now as parents.
Jimmy used to have that.
My
Jimmy used to have that crack, boy. We would high him up, boy. High him
Oh
up.
yeah,
Jimmy
my
had that
best
good
friend's
crack.
name in elementary school, his name was Zed.
No, already don't trust him.
They're like, nah,
Hell
man,
no.
nah.
So I was
He up to
down
no
at Zed's
good.
house all the time. His dad was like the coolest. I'm pretty sure, like,
Y'all was getting high.
oh, 100%. If we would have
Y'all was
asked,
getting
he
high.
would have given it to us.
I'm like,
One
nah.
time I snuck in this pack of I was like a little kid. I want to say we were probably in like third grade. somehow I got my hands on these Playboy cards.
Oh my
Like
god!
like a deck of cards, with
I got the goods.
and his dad caught us with them. And he's like, "Look, I'm not gonna tell your mom."
Yep.
And to my friend's mom, he's like, I was raised by my grandma. He's like, "I'm not gonna tell your grandma. Just give them to me. We won't have no problem." So he takes the cards. Never heard anything about them again.
Yeah, of course not. They're in a stash now.
Yeah. They're collectibles now.
Yeah.
But you're right, man. You're right. It's interesting. So I'm glad that you were being honest, though, that you would give it a chance as you now an educated man. You'd be like, okay, let me not generalize and use these biases against these dudes, but also let's be real and not just trust everyone. Let's do the backgrounds, the checks. Let's see who they're connected to. Right? You got to these days.
Yeah, let me do my research. If they don't have that stuff to provide me, then I'm out.
Okay.
You know? If you can't provide me this stuff, then I'm out. I'm sorry. I asked you for some simple things. You don't give me the things I need, so I'm out. I'm sorry. Good luck.
And it doesn't really matter what gender when it comes to that, right? I assume this is for all genders.
No. Yeah, exactly. If you can't show me the credentials, you can't show me what you got, then I'm out, kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just trying to make sure that a lot of our folks that are neurodivergent or neurotypical and young parents, right? You gotta be cautious. With who you giving your kids to, and right. And there was things, weird stuff and abuse stuff, trauma stuff going on in the past. And I get it. But everyone, it was safer back then. No, it wasn't. It wasn't safer back then.
There's more talking about it.
There's more talking about it now, right? And there's more people being held accountable now. Still at a way less accountability than what it should be, right? Because people getting off doing a lot of shit. Me and you know, as therapists, we hear about the stories.
Yeah.
And so I just like that we
Doesn't
bring
help
that
with
up.
statute of limitations,
Yep.
things like that, and all those time frames pass, and so then of course it's not going to be talked about. No one's going to be held accountable because it's like, okay, well, there's no proof. Like, yes, it happened to you, but at the same time, like, there's no way to have that accountability.
Yep. It's tough. So here's one thing, then we're going to pivot, Spence. I was hanging out, with Colin and the baby on Instagram, and he was getting her to point out the body parts, and she's pretty good at it. Ears, nose, eyes. And then he points out, right, boobies. And then he names the other things, right? And I said, I'm glad that you're teaching her the real names of these things, because what we've seen, this is a little bit of a trigger warning, but I'm going to say some terms. What we've seen is kids will not know the correct names of things. And then they'll come home and saying, oh yeah, I was touched by my so-and-so, right? By this thing, by my whoopee or whatever. And then the teachers won't recognize what the hell that means. Or the parents won't know what that word means. So by teaching the correct language and terminology, now if there's a certain issue that's going on to be in touch, they're using the correct language, which is helping with victims being hurt, right? Because now the kids are able to like, oh, wait a minute, you tell the parent, hey, they touched my vagina, hey, they touched my wiener, right? Penis. Right. And sorry to use those words, but we need to know that it's a really cool thing we've seen as therapists in the community, but also parents should be aware of too. I thought it was really cool that they were naming these things. Yep. So
I agree.
Have you used the terminology with your kids or no back in the day? Or were you like, this is your nana, your gumbo pot?
Nana.
No. For me, it was, my grandma was very literal. Bless her soul. She was like, okay, well, you have a scrotum and you have a penis.
Oh my God.
Damn, she's getting details. Shit.
And my 3-year-old, almost 4-year-old now, she knows that boys have penises.
Okay. Hey.
She goes, I have a penis.
There you go. Don't say that in the grocery store.
I have a penis. You're like,
She has. And we were on our way to drop her off for school one day, and she was saying it in the car, something about penis, like I'm like, stop saying penis. She goes, penis. I have penis. Girls have vaginas.
That's awesome, though. Let's be real. Kids gonna be an anatomy physiologist, right? I mean, they're gonna be smart. They're gonna know their body parts
based off that.
Yeah. Hey, I didn't know what mine was until like it was peeing everywhere, so I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
Like sprinkler. Like
So yeah, no, my kids definitely know the
terms.
Right terms. Even though my girls prefer to say coochie because it's more fun.
I mean, hey,
well,
who doesn't at this point in their life?
I'm gonna go ahead and pivot out of this conversation.
Yeah, there it is.
So,
there it is.
Spence, let's get into that next scene.
Yeah, so they're
it makes no sense.
How to really
There's no
describe
context for
this.
this scene. There's no
Really?
context.
I guess okay. So the two dads, Jeff Garland and Eddie Murphy, they are trying to teach these kids a better way. They're trying to have fun, but they're also trying to teach them a better way about how vegetables are actually good for you and how you can have them in a fun way, but then you should also eat them because before they were just feeding them like all types of unhealthy shit, like fucking Hostess shit,
Yeah.
all of that candy, all of that, and just to make them like pass out from the sugar rush. That was that was literally why they gave them all the sugar.
I forgot that.
Yeah, and so they saw that these kids are just they're getting sick from eating all the sugar and everything like that, so they're finding new ways to eat healthier. And so they brought in these suits that they used for like their vegetable cereal, and they use them in a fun way to kind of help with that. And so I love the fact of this scene of that, like we talked about before, of like these dads, they're taking something that's not fun, um that's gross to many kids, but then turning into fun, something that they can actually enjoy, right? Who doesn't love vegetables wrestling? Come on now.
Yeah.
That's yeah. So have you had this where you had to, pivot something that was not so fun for your kids, but then try to make it fun and then have them enjoy it because, for them, it's going to help them in the end to make them healthier or,
Yeah.
better in certain ways.
Not every day, but a lot of the time you have to make the boring and the mundane not boring and mundane.
Okay.
Even though being bored and mundane is really good for kids, it's really good for them to be bored,
Okay.
and they don't have to be stimulated all the time. Because if they're stimulated all the time, then that can be overstimulation. But if they're bored, then that's where I feel creativity comes from. And so you have to make certain things fun and exciting for kids to want to do and to buy into. Also, at the same time, you do also have to just kind of force them to go, even though you try to make it fun, you try to make it exciting. You know that they're going to have fun, and so you still do have to force your children to go and do things that they may not want to do right away. But once they're there and doing it, they're having fun, and then you get to have an "I told you so" moment later, which is always very gratifying and rewarding as a parent. To "I told you so" your kids, and so yeah, it's important to
You got
make
examples?
me think. My girls are pretty go with the flow, honestly,
Okay.
where it just takes a little bit of redirection to make things fun. But sometimes they just don't want to leave the house. And so
Okay.
it's like, okay, well, we're gonna go have fun, or we got a surprise for you, or something like that. And then they get something very super, super simple. Maybe we go and get them an ice cream cone or something, and they just get like a little extra treat. Um, I guess when my younger one was when they started eating more vegetables and whatnot, trying to make the vegetables like fun. This is a good example. Olives are the most fun, right? Or trying to try something new or do something new or try a new food. So olives, putting the olives on the fingers is always fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Olives on the fingers is the best. And so that's a good way to get them engaged and kind of get some of that stimulation, or getting them involved in the cutting of cucumbers and whatnot. They make these plastic knives. They're Montessori knives.
Yep.
I think that's what they're called. And they're
Yep.
just plastic knives, but they cut. So it gets them engaged and involved with the food that they're going to be eating and trying, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so making it fun, or turning them into dinosaurs. Okay, dinosaurs, whatever they're into. Okay, you're a big dinosaur right now. Eat your broccoli like it's a tree, kind of thing. Exactly. Yes, just like
That's
that.
a
Just like that.
terrifying fucking dinosaur. Run, don't no.
Yeah. So
El
you have to make
Cucuy.
different things fun. Like if they're into something, it's like, okay, well, if you're this, then you got to do this kind of
Okay.
thing. So using what they're into against them in a way to get them to do something fun. So then it's like, okay, big dinosaur bites, and then they're taking huge bites of their vegetables versus little tiny baby bites, and they're just eating them and they're enjoying them, kind of thing. So
Okay. So Colin's been doing that with the girl. She's got this little booster stand thing, and she stands and she's cutting up the stuff with him at 1.5. Right. And she ain't actually cutting anything. She's just moving shit around. That's all she's doing.
yeah,
But it's making her active with the foods, and right, they're naming it and talking about it. What color is it? How many slices is that? Right. And she's learning. But I'm a pivot. This is obviously sarcasm, people. But you know, the kitchen is for a woman. You shouldn't be having no kid. You know, as a man, the woman should be in the kitchen. Why are you in the kitchen, Jay? You shouldn't be in there.
I love being in the kitchen. My dad's a cook. My dad was a cook for a good part of his life. My
Okay.
uncle was a cook while I was growing up. And so I've seen men in the kitchen like a lot kind of thing. So I've seen that example. And so I like being in the kitchen. I like cooking. I like making a meal for my family that they enjoy kind of thing. And it's fun. It's relaxing. One of my favorite things to do when we get the kids back is to make our menu for the week and then take the kids grocery shopping for everything and then have them help put it away. And then, so they're involved in the food, they're involved in the process, they know what to expect, and it makes everything easier. I had a really good conversation I'm trying to think of the episode here, with John Canal, I don't know, but he wrote this cookbook right here. I have a copy.
Hold it to
But
your
it's-
chest. No, hold it to your chest.
Hold it to my chest.
Yep. Oh, hold it to your face, baby. Hold,
Lippery,
maybe.
peppery. What does that say?
Never
No,
mind.
It's got to be
Never mind.
chest.
Nope. Yep.
It's
Chest.
preppy kitchen, super easy recipes.
kitchen.
100 super easy and versatile recipes. And so John and I had this conversation back on the podcast just about getting kids in the kitchen and how
Okay.
important that is for just their development. Because I saw this TED talk once about how language skills are developed. And a lot of the language skills that are developed are, of course, within the home. But I want to say it was like 60% of the language skills that were developed in the home are within the kitchen and the dining room area.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's a basic need, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's got to eat and drink. And so we have to be able to communicate in that space. We have to learn the language of that space. We have to learn the things to do in that space for survival at a point too. So it's really interesting. It was a really good conversation. It was back on episode 146 of the podcast. So
There you go. So, right, that was being sarcastic. Obviously, I'm trying to point out that it's awesome for you to be in the kitchen. It's awesome to be in there with your girls. It's awesome to role model that this is what a good, healthy man looks like, right? One that can take care of himself, but then also cook for his family. So you feminize what masculinity is, what a man is, but you can also still be strong in your own masculinity, right? It's good for your girls to see that. It's good for young boys to see that. Right? If they only see mom in the kitchen, if they only see mom at home. Spencer, you talked about Eddie Murphy's kid, right? He was quiet, shy, weird, depressive, right? His dad's not talking to him. And then his dad starts coming around. Now he's getting love from his mom and his dad. And you see the kid get bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm going to do a quick pivot and then we'll get into the
and I
last
think
scene.
even this scene right here with the broccoli and the carrot is that Eddie Murphy's son in this scene says he's going for the carrot.
Yep.
So the other dad who has been showing him that love, that attention, that
Yep.
interaction versus Eddie Murphy, who's been giving all these other kids, but his own son attention during this daycare kind of
Correct.
thing.
I forgot about that plot line.
So that's like a little thing here that plays into that too. So
Yep. I was just going to mention, like, when my father got out of prison, everything changed. Now I had this male individual around me, and this is what you do. This is how you act. This is how you work. This is how you cook. This is how you treat men. This is how you treat women. Changed a lot of things when that happened. And right, I was 13 at the time, and he went away, I think, when I was like 4-ish, 5-ish. So it doesn't matter really what age. It's always good to have both of your parents in your life. Doesn't matter what gender, just both is magnificent. But if you are looking for a male figure or role model, it's good to have. Spence, when we talk about therapy, they'd be like, you know, my old boss, she used to be like, no, it's good for you to work with her. I said, why? Because you need to show her what a good dude looks like. If they've always been hurt or have always been abandoned, maybe you could help rewrite some of those trauma wounds. I was like, holy shit, okay. So I teach a lot of my interns and coworkers, like, there's a lot going into this. You represent like all of men in that moment. You represent all the folks of color, all indigenous, all queer-based individuals, all autistics in that moment. That's a lot of fucking pressure in the therapy or mental health or just health profession. But still, it's good to mirror. It's good to show. So this broccoli scene is fucking hilarious. Have you ever dressed up as anything? Have you ever dressed up? You know, you ever put on a wig? Have you ever cosplayed for your kids? Like, you know, I know you've done something. You're weird.
no, I have, of course. I would say probably the one thing that my girls remember that's happened somewhat recently is we were getting like really hyped up about something. We were going crazy. And then I ended up ripping my tank top off my chest.
All right.
Just something wild. I don't
Hulk
remember the
Hogan.
context.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I went like full Hogan, ripped the tank top off my chest, and everyone was laughing and cracking up, and it was just like one of those like moments. So
There you go. I would love to dress up for the kid, for the little girl, right? But I just don't
Learn
know.
for yourself.
Nothing just fits me. So what am I going to dress up as?
Fucking.
Only thing that fits me is the Mario Brothers hat and gloves. So fat.
You could. I don't know, man. You could be. You could be just dressing up as that one big Asian dude from the Eternals. There you go.
There,
You can do that.
Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh. There it is.
And goes the dude from Moana.
Big Hero 6.
Big Hero 6.
But where do I get the suit though? They only make those suits for like 150-pound like white kids though. Like
Just
you're just gonna have to
Baymax.
paint yourself white.
I was about to say you're gonna have to white face it.
White face.
White face it? All right, I
Yeah.
can do it.
You can white chicks it if you want.
But is it really white face if Baymax is actually Asian?
You don't know what he is. He's a computer.
He's a computer, but they're in Japan.
Don't you do it. No, they're not. They're not Japan. They are in a California when Japan.
Oh, you're right.
Was like, yeah, it's like California and Japan.
I
so
forgot.
it's like San Francisco
Francisco,
or something.
Tokyo.
I got it. Fat Thor.
Fat Thor. Jeez. Oh yeah, you could. You just look like what's his face?
I'm just gonna look like a fat potato.
With
Or you could do
glasses
Mr.
on.
Incredible.
I'm not
Mr.
gonna
Incredible
lie.
kind of has like he got fat and everything.
There you go.
He still has super strength, but he's still.
There you go.
I'm not feeling
He's a
good about myself right now. I'm
no,
not having a good
you're
time.
Not. We're just naming fat characters.
I'm not
and
having
you're
a good
just-
time right now.
Fat Albert?
So, excuse me while I go kill myself. Jesus
Hey,
Christ.
We just gave Nas his 13th reason.
Oh my God.
Jesus
Sorry.
All
My
right.
brother says that all the time to me. He's like, "You're my 13th reason." I'm like,
Oh,
"Oh my
Jesus.
God."
Okay. We're going to put a pause real quick. Obviously, we're making some jokes. Hopefully, people are laughing. We
Right.
take suicidality very real. But that was a funny ass joke. So, and most of the people listening will laugh to that. That was funny.
There is a 4-to-1 ratio of men suicide to women suicide in the United States. So that is something super important to be aware of. That check on your men, check on the men in your life, check on the dads in your life, check on those around you that are men, because you don't know if they're struggling, if they just need someone to reach out just to have a conversation. So
There you go.
Hey, real quick. So, I made a post the other day on Threads. Someone came in trying to check me real heavy. And they said that most of the programming vastly outweighs when it comes to programming towards men than women. I have not seen that true at any university I've ever been at. There's usually zero programming at all geared towards men. But they said that, we already do so much for men. And why do you think that we as white women are gatekeeping? And as I did want to even get into it because it's a really long discussion. And specifically, I said white women. This person who came at me was a white woman. And I was like, you don't even understand the intersections of like what I'm talking about when it comes to masculinity and race and gender. So I didn't want to get into it. But do you see a lot of programming for men in general? Because I have yet to see any programming for men specifically.
define. What do you mean by programming?
So mental health related things or group related things,
Oh,
targeting of men.
Please. No, it's non-existent.
Well, this individual was like, well, we do so much for men and it's okay if we focus on women. I said, all right, all lives matter. I get it. I get it. Calm down.
Yeah.
But I don't ever see any programming really for men. Every once in a while, you'll see some stuff where they said it's internalized like patriarchy. I said, yes.
Well,
and there's more to it.
Yeah, there's a token man in the commercials and whatnot. There's one there, but he's probably like a brother or a cousin or a sibling or spouse or something. He's not the one having the issue. The highlighted one with the issues is a woman, right? The highlighted one that needs the help is a woman. In most of that programming, yes, they're in the programming. Yes, they're in the commercial. They're in the ad or something. But I mean,
The services aren't geared towards men. And then this person would probably, I can assume that they're going to say, well, it's because the men don't show up. And they said, well, there's programs for men all the time for them to seek therapy and help. I said, there's your issue there. It's a very privileged fucking thing to say, is that it's your fault because you don't come to us. So now you eliminate anyone that's black or brown because we're not going to no fucking therapist. You got to go into the communities. And so it's a very privileged thing for the person to say what they said to me. I didn't even want to touch it.
yeah, no, it's true. It's, when you say something, well, you got to come to us. all right, I'm out then.
Who the fuck are you? Why would I trust you?
If you're not even gonna exactly, if you're not gonna welcome me in, then I'm not gonna come in the door. I'm not gonna come in. It's one of the scariest moments. One of the hardest things to do is to walk in those doors. One of the hardest things to do is to get in your car to drive to that place. One of the hardest things to do is to make that phone call, to then get in your car, to then drive to that place, to then get out of your car, to then walk through that door to go check in at the receptionist, and then to wait in that waiting room with, a few other people while they're staring at you, feel like all the eyes are on you, you're nervous, you're anxious, you're hot, you're sweaty, you're all the things, right? It's one of the hardest things to do is to take that step. And if you are telling men in general that, oh, well, you just got to come to us, we have it for you kind of thing. It's like, okay, but I don't feel like you want me there. I don't feel like you care that if I'm there or not kind of thing. So it is a very privileged thing. There is a lot of gates. There's a lot of barriers in the way to access that care.
And masculinity gets in the way I get it. Patriarchy gets in the way I get it. But also, it's tough for anyone to go into therapy, but specifically men, specifically brown men. But let's talk about even masculine women. Spence, Latinas and black women, mental health is hell no.
Very rare. Yes. Yes.
It-
Well, and then also,
Go
if
ahead.
you look at who's doing the therapy, it's mainly white women, right? And so, why, as a male or from any color background or a woman of color, why would I go to you specifically? You don't know what I'm going through. You don't. So, if you don't know what I'm going through, how can you help me get through it if you've never been through it? So,
You're right.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to point out masculinity in general. It's a currency for a lot of our households. So immediately they were shaming masculinity and patriarchy. I was like, okay, I get it. But let's think about it. That masculinity is what keeps some of us alive in our neighborhoods, in these black and brown communities. And so I'm not going to shit anyone for that. Interesting conversations that happen on the internet. I'm not the best writer or typer. I apologize if some of you as followers wondered if I was going to follow up with that. I'm not going to follow up with some things because I just don't have the skills to. It is what it is. But if you saw that, I'm sorry I didn't respond to them, folks. I ain't got the time for it.
Yeah, I don't think there was a response needed for that though. At the same time,
It was too
there's no
loaded.
point in, there's no point in engaging in that. There's no point in going into that because they're just trying to bait you for whatever way, shape, or form. They have something against you as a man of color.
It is what it
as
is.
a man, first off, and as a colored man, second off, and working in the field you work in, third off, that I guarantee that they've never sat in the room and provided any kind of trauma-informed care. I guarantee they've never heard a story about someone going through a very traumatic experience or seeing someone get murdered or going through a, domestic violence situation
It's
or
intense.
been on the other side of these conversations and whatnot, or sat in a courtroom with the family throughout a custody hearing kind of thing, or, read 500 pages of child protective service documents or done all these things that we've done in our field kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. I just
So
wanted to touch on
they'll
it.
never understand it. So
I'm glad that you brought up the men's mental health, right? I've just been recently doing a lot of stuff for men. It's been awesome to see these men be better men when I come into the room and how they're emailing me and being like, I cried when I got this email the other day. Then we'll get into the last scene. I did a talk on a frat house and a boy said to me, he said, I can't believe someone like you came into the house today and you broke the tension with jokes and your masculinity. And you talked about what it is to be a real man. To be a real friend is to check in on your friend. Hey, how you doing? I care about you. What's going on? And these boys were asking me, well, how do we change things? And they, what can you do as a counselor? I said, what can you do as a fucking man sitting right there? I said, ask your friend how they're doing. I said, you want to show something? Model it, what it is as a senior, as an upperclassman to these young freshmen of how to behave and act and how to love each other. And you see all these boys paying attention, right? And some of them were being shitheads. And then I would make jokes. Now I got their attention again. So that masculinity in that area is needed. Could a woman have done it? Yes. But there's something about my identities, right? And my size, it gives me the privilege to walk in there and I immediately get respect. So I use it now. So I use it. And then a woman went after me to talk about sexual violence and assault on campus. It was magnificent. I should have passed the baton off a little bit better to her because hers was a very intense conversation. I should have demanded that they give her the respect they showed me. And they did. She held her own. It was awesome. But there was a couple of kids being a little shitheads and they were talking too much. I didn't like it. So I learned as a man, I need to make sure that if someone follows me to make sure they show the same fucking respect for the next person. Doesn't matter who it is, because I know that they're a little scared of me. So I'm just saying, there's a lot of ways to be a man, and I cried in that speech because I talked about, you know, my boy, his little baby girl. We thought she had cancer, and I talked about how traumatic that was, and then I talked about me, you know, attempting to take my own life as well after I got kicked out of school, college, and how fucked up that is to be hopeless, to feel like you're a piece of shit, for your father to have to bail you out, right? I talked about all this mental health with men, so I'm glad that you pivoted that. I got to get that out. It is Suicide Prevention Month. Right. And so it is September. This won't launch until like probably the end of November, but I'm glad you brought it up. It's manifest destiny.
It's a topic that we should always talk about, right? Like I lost a younger brother in the month of September, a few years ago, my biological brother, to an overdose several years ago. I think 5 years ago now. And so it's something that not as unironic as it is, during Suicide Prevention Month is when we lost him.
It happens.
And so it's important, you know, and there's a lot of times where us as men, we can come into a room where I come into a room working with like my youth. So I run our kids group as well at work.
It's awesome.
And so like our kids group on Thursday, the first Thursday was wild. The instructor was like, these kids were wild, but they seem to listen to you. And she asked, and I'm like, okay, I'll come in there next week and I'm gonna lay the law down. I'm gonna get the rules down. And the second I raised my voice and got my dad voice in there, these kids were quiet. They were looking at me, and then I passed that baton over to her. I'm like, you guys are going to show her the same respect that you're showing me right now. No offense or buts. Pass it on. And so it is a unique opportunity when we do get to have those times where we can be a man. And there's a lot that you can do.
There is.
Without having a degree or anything. You can call up your friends. You can text your buddies. You can invite them out. You can go and do the simple things. You can check on them. And if you're struggling, you can reach out. You know, you find someone to reach out to.
You boys.
And there's plenty of people that care about you. I guarantee it. There's plenty of people that care about you that would return the same favor. You know, time and time again, those people that have reached out to you for your support, I guarantee that they'll reciprocate. And if they're not, then, you know, they're not a true friend, you know, in my opinion. And so if you can't ask the same of them that you're going to ask of you, then it's sayonara. It's peace out. Like, we're done here. This relationship's over.
You're dead to me.
Pretty much.
All right.
It is a very heavy topic, but it is one that's very important to be able to command that room and to be able to talk about these things and to bring awareness, because mental health is an issue. You know, it's sad that just in America, it's 4-1. You look at other countries, you look at, you know, the Koreas, it's, at least at the time I looked at it, it's probably about 3-4 years ago. But I remember it like Korea was like 100-1 men to women suicide rate.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up. I'll look it up and then I'll vet myself and fact check myself.
All right.
But
Let's for time though, let's keep it moving. Let's go into this last scene and then you can give us that stat at the end there. Let's do this last scene, have some fun with this.
Yes. So we have it to where Jeff Garlin is sleeping on a couch, and some of the kids at the daycare having a little fun, and so they put him in makeup. He answers the door for this kind of social worker, and it's just this the man of the house home. Man of the house. Yeah. Charlie. Yeah, that's right. He's here. And then, of course, gets freaked out, and Jeff Garlin knows exactly who did it. He knows. Who the hell? I know.
I'm coming for you.
I'll get you.
Yeah.
Jay, what is it like? I know you're deep into Google right now. I can feel the eyes on the screen.
No,
I could see it. But what is it like for you to be a girl dad? What is it like? I know you got a hat with it on right now, but
support your local girl dad. Shout out to Dad Bought Apparel. Use code YoungDad15. Being a girl dad is the best. I am so glad I have girls versus having boys. Because
why are you sexist? Why do you hate men? Why do you hate
penises?
Why do you hate? You know, I'm joking. Keep going. You love it. We fucked him up. We can't do this. It fucks him up.
I know.
I'm like so back and forth because you're saying that, and then I want to respond to Spencer saying, I mean, obviously, I hate
continue.
penis. Have you seen a
Just
vagina?
continue.
But,
Jesus Christ,
so
continue.
that's a response straight to Spencer. But girls are I mean, I've never raised a boy, but I was difficult beyond difficult.
You were special.
And so very, very much.
Lego.
I did not ride that one bus though, so I do have that. I rode the big bus, not the little one.
Well, I rode the small one. It was awesome. Fuck you.
Got to see
I
my bus
wanted
driver
to-
from 2 seats back. It's great.
Finish. God damn it, Jay. Come on, Daddy.
Ah.
So yeah, being a girl dad is the best.
It's
Just
awesome.
great.
It's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's all I
It's
can say.
great. It's great. It's fantastic. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
That's all I can
God, you
say.
fucked him up. You fucked his brain up. That boy brain don't work no more.
that boy full disabled.
Oh my God.
Hey boy, he
He
went.
us now, aren't you?
He pretty much went into Bojangles from fucking life. Jangling, jangling,
Jangling.
jangling,
What
jangling.
happened to you?
Oh man.
You good, bro?
Gosh, it's
He's
hot.
hurting.
It's hot. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
he's crying.
I'm sweating too, bro. I get it. My old underboobs are just puddles right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go change. I got the swampiest swamp ass right now.
Oh, my
that's
God.
nice. Well, that's a taste. I can taste it. So,
Clean, you're dirty.
Um,
All right, here we go.
but being a girl dad is pretty cool, man. And
Yeah.
what raising dudes you think would have been like little hellions because they would have been like you, or you think because they're women,
Absolutely.
they're chill?
I think so. It's like my girls are just they're so loving, they're so kind, they're so sweet. Yes, they have their moments when they're little hellions as well. Don't get me wrong. But there's a big difference. There's a line between raising kids to when they're terrorists and when they're hellions. And I feel like boys are more terrorists most of the time. Girls are occasionally hellions, but other than that, those occasional moments when they're hellions, they're normally pretty sweet, pretty nice, pretty chill.
Okay.
And so just raising girls has just been the best. I am a girl dad through and through. I love raising these little girls, going to all the girly things, doing all the girly things with them. Fully embrace the lifestyle that is
Femininity.
being a girl dad.
Yeah.
So
Have you ever worn any
And it's-
makeup?
I have
Where?
not by well, kind of by choice, to where my wife talked me into pretending like I was asleep a couple times. And then while I was quote unquote sleeping, they put makeup on me, and then I pretended like I didn't know it was on me, and I'm like, what happened? And I wore it for a bit,
It's awesome.
and it's really hard to stay still and not laugh during that because they're just giggling, they're having fun. And so trying to keep a straight face during that is probably one of the hardest things I ever had to do. And yeah, it's a lot of fun being a girl dad. All the things that they're into, all the things that they learn, they grow, and they're just so loving, they're so sweet. And it's opened up my capacity for love. It's opened up my patience overall. I mean, I'm 3-1 in this house. And so
Taking over.
yeah, I mean, I got the 2
One
dogs.
city
you
at a
know.
time.
Yep.
Yeah, I got 2 dogs. They're boys, but then we also got a new kitten, and she's a girl. So now it's a 4-to-3 ratio. So now we're outnumbered again. So
See, should have built that wall. Could have kept them out.
I mean, should have,
Yep.
but
What do you think about someone like The Rock? And a couple years ago, right, Dwayne Johnson, they showed his daughters painting him up, going to the tea party. You remember that? He had the wig on, the makeup and all that. You see something like that, are you like, this is fucking awesome to see this big masculine just muscle just
definitely
wearing
like
makeup?
I think if The Rock does it, you feel more at ease about when it happens to you, or when it feels like you're given permission. Because I mean, The Rock, he's The Rock. He's a symbol of masculinity. There's no one bigger than The Rock. There's no one bigger in the WWE during his time than The Rock. There's no one bigger in Hollywood
Yeah.
at times than The Rock. The Rock is The Rock. You know exactly who I'm talking about. If I start saying Rock, if I just say Rock, you're talking
Bro,
about Dwayne
stop
Johnson.
saying Rock, bro. You said
I
it.
know, you're in a trance right now.
You
You're
know,
just-
he's like,
The Rock. If I heard about The
dude, The
Rock,
Rock
you know
is-
The Rock.
I love a
and then
rock.
The
You know
I'll
what The
take a
Rock
rock.
is cooking?
I'll cook a rock, smoke a rock, Eat a rock, shove a rock, wherever you want, you know.
Shove a rock.
But I mean, it gives us permission as men to do those things.
To be more
It's like,
feminine.
cool. He's doing it. He's doing it with his daughters, and he's enjoying
Who's
it.
doing
He's
it?
enjoying every moment of it.
Who's doing it?
Dwayne Johnson's doing it.
Dwayne
Damn
Johnson.
it.
Called him by his name.
Maui's doing it.
Maui.
So I think you're starting to see more dads ebb into this, where they're being okay with the makeup and dressing up, tea parties. You're seeing this femininity. You're seeing this ability to exist in both worlds. I myself personally love it. Right? It doesn't matter what gender it is. I'm like, you should be able to play with like Kyle's little girl's playing with a screw gun and toys, and she got a lawnmower and shit. I mean, she got like a jungle gym. She's doing masculine shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it. And she can have the little tea party, and she's having her dolls and all that. I love being able to play whatever the hell you want and getting away from these gender norms, and raising the kid to just have fucking fun and be creative.
Exactly.
Do you do that with your kids too? Or do you like it, they only get pink shit?
No, my girls get whatever they want, pretty much. Like my older daughter, she's played baseball for the last 3 years, and
Okay.
she's been one, if not the only girl on the team that I've coached and whatnot. And my other one, she will wear oversized t-shirts and baggy clothes, or she'll look like a little boy sometimes, and she'll wear SpongeBob shirts. My older daughter loves Pokemon, so she has a bunch of Pokemon shirts that she wears to school and whatnot. And
Tism is strong in that one.
so
Sorry.
I mean, there's all sorts of things.
That's
There's all
awesome.
sorts of things that they're both into. Yes, they have a Barbie house in the living room here, but I mean, they play with it occasionally, and then they'll color, they'll draw, they'll wrestle. Love when these two fight. It is the best when they're going all out against each other. And
Well, you
they're not
got your
hurting
money
each other.
on.
Yeah, I know. Broccoli.
Bro, the 4-year-old all the time. She is, even though she kind of cheap shots a lot, but the older one's just too afraid to actually like use her strength to
Yeah.
just like outright win.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that's an older sister kind of thing. It's like no one's gonna get in trouble. If you make her cry, you make her cry. That's fine. Y'all do you.
Finish
Get
her.
after it.
Do
Pretty
it.
much. I'm like, get after her. Like you are bigger and stronger. Like, but then she just goes a little tiny push, and then the next thing you know, the 4-year-old's full swing in her arms, and
Oh wow.
He's just like Kylo Ren. He's just like, more.
Let's pivot out of this conversation before he gets in trouble and CPS called out him for having a fucking cage fighting ring. Yeah. So everything's safe. The kids have been fine. Everything's fine.
everyone's
They're not-
fine.
he's
Everyone's
not
fine.
betting on
Everything's
his
fine.
children to fight.
Yep.
He's not doing it.
An illegal.
Probably delete those Venmo requests with my wife, then. But
What are these? What are these statements?
What are these? What is that girl got fucking blood painted on her face? Tribal
Just
warrior. It's fine. That's awesome, man. So it's cool picking your mind and seeing these different things. Anything else that you wanted to touch on before we get out of here and we wrap up? We're gonna have you do the plugs right after this. So you'll plug away after this.
no, you're fine. No, I'm just trying to think. I don't think so. It's definitely interesting seeing a lot of myself in both the kids a lot of the time too, and seeing some of those neurodivergencies starting to come to life. I would say they're pretty neurotypical for the most part, but
Yep.
they do definitely have their things to where my daughter's counselor and we talk, and it's like, well, is it this thing, or is it this thing, or is it more this thing, or she doesn't do these behaviors at this place, but she does them more here at this place, and this is what so there's so many things that it could be, but yet it's none of them at the same time. So that's been a challenge in itself, because it's like, okay, what skills do we focus on versus not focus on? Because you have to focus on different skills when it's ADHD versus when it's ODD versus when it's this, or is this presenting as this, which could present as this kind of thing. So
Can
it's
get
just
complicated.
it's so complicated. And so it's really challenging, because it's like, yes, I work in this field. Yes, I understand. I can help a bunch of people with it. And that's one of the big misconceptions. And you see these quote unquote parenting experts, and you see these people who are these parenting coach. Yes, I roll. Exactly. Thank you. And you see these people who are these self-proclaimed things. Yes, they found one thing that works for them, kind of thing. One or two things that work for them, for their kids. Your kids are not their kids. You are not them. You are not that household, kind of thing. It's more than
Half
likely
the
not
time
going to
they're
work for you.
lying.
Don't waste your money.
Half the time
90%
they're
of the
lying and
time
just
they're
making
lying.
shit up.
My kid's
Exactly.
perfect.
Did you see that
That's
one?
parenting, though.
The one lady just had a book out, Spence, about like gentle parenting, they just took her kids away because she's beating the shit out of them. It was one of the number one parenting books there was in America.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I'm saying here. It's like none of us know what the hell we're doing, but we all know what the hell we're doing at the same time. You know, you do, and you really do know what you're doing at the same time. Like, yes, no clues at times, but at the same time, you also know exactly what you're doing.
Correct.
Which is a really weird spot to be in. But
it sounds fucking terrifying.
Yeah, like I know where to go, but not really. You know, I don't need to check the map. I'm good. I'm
exactly,
good.
but it's like that's the premise of Daddy Daycare. Is like these two dudes have no clue what they're doing, but they're doing everything so right at the same time
Because
like,
they're being good people.
Exactly. You just have to be. Our main goal as parents should be just to teach our kids to be empathetic humans, to be good people, to be productive members of society when they leave the house, to where they're non-judgmental, but they can also critically think. I know we're crazy thought there, where they can reason, where they have common sense, where they can say, no, I disagree with that, or yes, I agree with that, and here's why. They can explain their why, they can stand up for themselves, they can advocate for themselves. So these are all very important things that I hope my girls do at the end of the day when they're out of the home, when they're in the real world, and when they're surviving for themselves, kind of thing.
A quick question, we're going to get out of here. So is it, I teach my kids to hate the coloreds.
Here we go. God damn it. I knew that voice.
Do you think that's a good thing or bad? That's a joke. We're not even going to answer that. I don't want to use like the colors.
And we're out of here. So what are the plugs, Jay? What are the plugs you got?
The colored people.
Why would you ask?
The coloreds. The coloreds, bro.
The Negros.
They're
no, we're pivoting.
They're biracial.
No.
They're biracial.
I
so
know.
There's no room for hate for them to exist. So
we're done. The plugs. What plugs you got? Plug away.
What plugs you got?
Fill it up.
That's what she said. Sorry. Yes, you can find me at Young Dad Pod on all the social medias. That's literally all of them.
Okay.
I was able to get that branding down. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Rumble, Twix. That's Twitter/X.
Twix. I'm like, is that for fat people?
Nougat?
Yeah, I got the sugars now. Keep going.
So yeah, YouTube. You can find the podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Okay.
Young Dad Pod. You can find the website, which has full episodes, has transcripts, it has resources, which are found in the show notes at youngdadpod.com. I mean, super easy. Then you can also find us on Patreon. If you want to support the podcast in any way, shape, or form, you can become a patron for just $1 to $2 a month. And you get some pretty cool benefits over there. You get early access to every podcast, and you can also join the recordings of each podcast live as an audience member and see the magic happening in the moment, which I think is pretty cool.
You can do that?
So it makes on Riverside, yeah. So I use Riverside, but I can invite people as audience members where they can just sit and they can watch the podcast live as it's happening, live as it's unfurling.
I don't think that'd be good for us. We have too much ADHD.
wouldn't
We
be
would
good for
not
us.
be able to get through a show.
So real quick, you the merch, is that your merch or someone else's merch?
So the merch is coming. It hasn't developed yet, but on Patreon, you as a patron, you can have first say in merch designs, things like that, to what that's going to look like too. So those are some of the perks. So.
Who's the hat? Who's the hat? Shout out the hat. Say it slower though.
So the hats, this one is your support your local girl dad hat from Dad Bod Apparel, great partner of the Young Dad Pod. Dad Bod Apparel, use the code YoungDad15 and you'll save 15%. You can find that, of course, on all social medias in my link tree as well.
Okay, there we go. Thank you.
There you go. All right. With that, thank you, Jay, for coming on. It was a fun time.
It was.
Love to have you back. Yeah, great time.
They're probably going to take his kids after this, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that's not our fault. Anyways, I'm Spencer. That's Daz. Different Spectrums Podcast.
All right, everyone. This has been a blast today. Much love, and remember, take care of yourselves.
Or don't.
It's completely up to you. Peace.